Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Good Vibes with Garrett. Thank you all so much for coming back for a third time. I appreciate it. I know these are kind of a lot different than what we normally do, but it's fun to do. And I enjoy just sitting and chatting and doing some hobbying. So if you don't know, if you're new to this, I sit here and do some sort of hobbying, whether it's painting miniatures, maybe putting together some miniatures. That's basically all I've done so far, but who knows, maybe it'll expand into some other hobby things. But while I'm doing that, I'll tell a story or talk about something, a topic, whatever. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right, so this week I'm working on another one of these little guys that I got in that box set. I don't know if you guys remember the very first video, I put them all together. Last week I painted the little goblin demon looking dude. This week I'm experimenting more with these Vallejo Xpress colors. So these are the ones that I'll bring up on the camera over there, maybe if it focuses. These are the Express Color paints, which basically the promise is one coat, you're done, does it all. When you do like this type of priming on your miniature there. So it worked last week, so I'm going to do some experimenting this week with multiple colors. I have a black lotus, a deep purple, and the plague green that I used last week as well. So I'm going to paint this little guy up here. We'll see how he turns out here. So, all right, well, this week I wanted to kind of talk about something that I've already talked about before, at least on our show, and I've mentioned it. I don't know how much I've actually really talked about it. Sorry, I want to make sure this is all in focus for you guys. I'm not sure how much I've actually talked about it on the show, or what exactly my life was like before. So I grew up in the middle of nowhere of New York. I think Interlaken had what was it? At one point I remember Wikipedia saying 800 people maybe. It was a very, very small little town, not much going on. But I, in my high school years, moved to Papua New Guinea. Now, those of you who don't know where that is an island north of Australia. It's about the size of California, square mileage wise. But imagine just dense, dangerous jungles, treacherous terrain, mostly tribal peoples who live there, and then on top of that, also known for their cannibals. Mostly ex-cannibals now, but I'm sure there's still a few tribes that have yet seen modern humanity and might still practice it. But I think most do not now. So I went over there. It was my junior year of high school. So like I said before, all growing up, I lived in upstate New York until about 2007. My parents decided they wanted to go into missions, and with a church. And so we moved to actually Canada for a few years, where they did some. We lived there for a couple of years, and then moved overseas to Papua New Guinea in March 10th of 2010, which we're coming up on a 13-year anniversary, I guess that'd be. 2023, 2010 to 2013, or 23, crazy. That was almost 13 years ago. Moved to Papua New Guinea, and was where I really just learned a lot. Like, I feel like that was such a huge turning point in my life. Moving there, just with all the experiences I had there, the people I met there, it's pretty incredible. A lot of people will ask, like, hey, like, what was that like in high school, just up and leaving, your friends and family and whatnot. But I don't know, I guess what I tell a lot of people is, for me, so we grew up moving a lot. It was always within like 20 or 30 minutes of each other. Like, so it was never very far, but we still moved a lot. It's far enough to move to a new school district, basically, in New York. So it would be like 20, 30 minutes away. And we'd move far enough away to like, okay, yep, now you're in a new school. So every couple of years I was in a new school. So because of that, like, moving overseas, it's not like I had like this best friend for life or whatever that like I'd known my entire life, other than family. Like, that's what family was to me, basically. Family was, the people who they were my closest friends, because they actually were the only ones who stuck through, always. They were always there. Where, again, going to a new school every couple of years, like, I was at different friends every couple of years. So, but moved to Papua New Guinea, and hardest thing was definitely leaving family behind, but got over there, and man, it's a beautiful country, don't get me wrong, like, it's gorgeous. So, like, that's obviously a plus. Lived right on the beach, right on the ocean, and absolutely just gorgeous views, and really incredible location where we ended up. But really the coolest part of the whole thing was just the people I met and the experiences I had. So obviously I'll have to elaborate more stories and another time, another good vibes. But I just was able to see the world, so much more of the world than I'd ever seen before. Having grown up in upstate New York, in the middle of nowhere, you don't really know much of anything. Your horizons aren't very broad. It's just like, all right, I know from this cornfield to this cornfield, going overseas just is such a huge, like, pivotal moment for me, where I just like, oh, like, there is so much more to the world, so much more to like more going on around me than just what I know in middle of nowhere, New York, upstate New York. And so, it was just really cool kind of opportunity that, again, like I said before, like, really shaped who I ended up. Not only just, again, like, the experience of it all that I had, but people I met, and places we got to go, and things we got to witness and see. And it was really, really, really neat experience. So I know this is not going into much detail here, but we don't have a lot of time. I like to get you in and out of here about 10 minutes or so. And so I'll have to tell some more stories another time about my time there. But I just it was a very special time. And I guess to leave you with something, just when you're offered the opportunity to take the leap, do something different, do something like out of the ordinary, out of the box, like, think outside the box, do something that, like, oh man, like, I would never ever do anything like this, or this is like absolutely like bonkers crazy, people are going to think I'm crazy for doing this. I would encourage you to just do it, just try it, as long as it's not stupid. There's a difference between crazy and unexpected and stupid. But honestly, like, that is what shaped so much of who I am today. And I couldn't imagine, like, oh, what if my parents, like, didn't didn't do that despite what everyone else was saying. Not that it was easy. That's the other thing. Like, it was honestly, like, it was hard. It was extremely hard for everyone, for us, for family back home, for like my parents, for me and my brother. Yeah, it was really, like, at times like hell, honestly. But at the same time, there was so much good out of it, whether it was again, the learning experiences we had, the spiritual experiences we had, the friendships we made, just so much positives out of that. So yeah, it was a huge moment of change for me. And again, I encourage you to try something just out there. See if you can find your turning point, for lack of a better word. What's going to be your big life-changing moment. Just look for that. Look for ways to, like, hey, I want to learn something new and broaden my horizons. So take that for what it's worth. So here's my little guy. So I'm going to be honest. I don't know how I feel about it. So what I was trying to do is blend to go from the black to the green. And this leg turned out really good. This leg, it didn't really blend that well. Maybe I just need to use some water and wet blend it a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because I wanted to go from like a black pot, because it's supposed to look like a little cooking pot, and blend it into like the organic legs and stuff. But give them a little purple gum, so I'll need to go in and touch up the teeth later. Won't be able to do that here on this video, but yeah, looks all right. Not too shabby. This isn't a finished product by any means, but hey, what I got done in 10 minutes, I'm pretty happy with. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate it that you take the time to just sit here and watch me paint, listen to me yap on about who knows what, but I appreciate it. Remember, get out there and look for something crazy to do. That's my encouragement to you. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. And remember to look for us over on the normal podcast, Super Gamer Boys, where we talk about video games and act a lot crazier, have a lot more fun. Me, JJ, and Adrian over there. So check us out. All right. Have a good one.